What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, is the Alexis Arguello puppet. We're back. Y'all know what we do. The most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. Legends, luminaries, world champs, and fighters on the rise. All coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rex. My guest is here, so let's get down to it, man. Here we go with another incredible episode. Let's do it. Return guest, by the way. Friend of the show, I'd like to say. And I'm happy to have him back. Lots to catch up with in his world. So I'm excited. And there he is.
Hey,
what's up? How's it going, my friend?
Going good.
How's everything in the KidFire world?
Man, it's just great. I just had my first fighter for the new gym I'm at.
Okay.
Angel Malagon.
Angel Malagon. He had a KO yesterday on his
Nice.
first fight.
Congrats. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you like this coaching? Is it fun for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine.
Yeah. I love it.
So I may have asked you this the first time that you came on here, man, but how early did you get a pair of boxing gloves on? Because you had quite an amateur career, man. How early did you start?
13.
13. And what brought you to a boxing gym? Like, obviously, I've done almost 300 episodes. A lot of guys have the same backstory, getting in a lot of fights in the streets, trouble or whatever, just naturally getting into a lot of scraps. Was that the story for you?
No. I wasn't that kid that would be the one that would be fighting.
Okay.
I was that kid that'd be running.
I think I was a little bit of that kid too for a while.
Yeah. So I used to play. I played football. Football was my first love. I was real good at that, and I chipped the bone in my knee, and so I couldn't play the next year. And messed around and got in a little tussle in school, and the dude I was fighting couldn't hit me. I ain't throw no punches back, but he couldn't hit me. So I came home and told my daddy, I said, I want to box. So he took me to a gym.
And so boxing wasn't even on your radar until that point.
Right, no.
And so was it on your radar in terms of even being a fan? Were you watching boxing?
I was an Ali fan.
Yeah. And so what about your father? Did he have any boxing experience?
Yeah. He used to fight for a little YMCA.
Okay.
So yeah, he had a little experience in it.
And so did he wind up early on in your career, if I'm not mistaken? So he was your trainer, coach?
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that in boxing, that dynamic between father and son, fighter and coach. How did that work for you guys? Because obviously I know from having a son, sometimes button heads a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of times. That could pose a problem. Me and my daddy had a real good connection. I seen where it has hurt other fighters during their career.
Yeah.
A lot of people that wanted to sign me early in my career didn't want my father aboard. So I wasn't cool with that.
Yeah. So you were loyal, man. Like, you wanted your father along for the journey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And who wouldn't? I mean, if you can't trust family, and it is kind of it can be, there can be obviously a dirty side of the business. So having people around you can trust.
Right. He's got your back. My daddy was my rock.
Right. And so do you feel like when you got into the sport that you were what people would call a natural, or was there a big learning curve for you? Because obviously, if you look at your numbers, amateur and pro, it seemed like it came pretty natural and pretty, I don't want to say easy to you, but it does seem like it was pretty effortless, your ability to fight.
Yeah, I could fight, but like I tell people, it's levels to it.
Right.
I was natural athlete. I was fast. I was strong, but there's way more to boxing than that.
Right.
Them are the things that I had to learn.
Yeah. And so when you first get involved in the sport, what did you find was the hardest attribute for you to learn?
The hardest attribute, because there's several of them. But
it seems like power was already there.
yeah, it was. It was. I started out stopping kids my age.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to say what the hardest attribute was to learn how to really train and run and push your body to its limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that has talent, a lot of people that has God-given gifts tend to forget about the work ethics of the sport.
Yeah. Do you see that a lot with the fighters that you're training? What do you see as a common obstacle that these kids nowadays are struggling with?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Lack of fundamentals, wanting to get in the ring and spar before they learn anything, ready to hit something, don't even got balance, don't even know how to step.
Right. Right.
Hey, can we pause this for a second? Give me 1 second.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'll just bump my gums until you get back. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Come here.
I bump my gums for
London,
I
give him
bump
the
my gums for a
iPad,
living.
son. Give him the iPad. What did he want? Get the iPad. Give him the iPad.
I get to sit here all day and just watch KidFire boss people around. Look at I just watch him just giving people orders.
Yeah. And he don't want to tag him with my son.
Just be careful, man. This is a guy that only lost 13 fights in his whole lifetime, so I wouldn't trifle with him.
But technically, I didn't lose 13.
I know.
Yeah, I probably lost in my career. I probably lost 3 or 4 early.
Yeah.
In my career, but you know the way they give decisions, even in amateur boxing.
I agree.
You know, I never won a national tournament. You know, so I look back and ask myself, how could I never win a national tournament if I was number 1 in the world middleweight?
Right. But you did win the Golden Gloves though, in South Carolina 5 times.
Yeah, the regional Golden Gloves, but I never won a nationals.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do you explain that though? That's just insane. Politics. Yeah, right. And that's getting back to what I said about having your father in your corner and having people around you that you can trust. Unfortunately, the business side of it sometimes, no matter who you have on your side, you could still get screwed.
Yeah, because you can't win against the judges when they have their favorites pick. You know, that's in professional too.
What do you think is the biggest obviously you're sitting here saying that you don't feel like a lot of the losses that you were credited with were even viable losses, though. Is there one that you particularly took the hardest, that was the hardest for you to deal with?
Absolutely. When I lost my world title.
Okay.
So, you know, I lost to Reggie Johnson in his hometown with, of course, the judges.
Yep.
But, I was young. I told my promoter I'd fight the champion in his living room with his mama and his aunt judging.
Yep, which you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I basically got what I asked for. It went the distance.
Yep.
And in my eyes, during that time, like I told you, I had a lot taken from me. So my thing was not to go the distance with you. My thing was to get you out of there. But I feel like if I didn't do my job, I consider that a loss to me.
Yep.
If they would have raised my hand, I would have considered that a loss and went back and seen where I could have stopped Reggie at.
Reggie seems to be involved in a lot of those controversial fights because I've had him on the podcast a couple times. I've had James Toney on a couple times, and they like to go back and forth about their fight as well.
Right.
And they had a pretty close one too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And Reggie dropped James though. That was the only thing.
He did. The thing I like about James though is, and I've had him on the podcast a couple of times. He's got that same warrior spirit and attitude that you have. Even though he's got losses on his record, you can't tell James Toney that anybody's ever beat him because he just doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
He doesn't believe he's really ever been truly beaten by anybody.
Yeah.
And I guess you kind of have to think that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do. Sometimes it's your personal opinion. But when other people say it, not just you, then you can see that there could be some truth to it.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people didn't feel like Reggie beat me.
What was the fight that you really wanted in your career that maybe didn't happen? Is there one that you were really angling for? A guy maybe you really had your sights set on that you would have liked to gotten your hands on and it just for whatever reason didn't happen?
Yeah, I was a little bit mad at James because he got to Michael Nunn before I could.
Yep.
I was a little bit mad at Gerald because he got to Julian Jackson before I could.
Yep.
And I was a little upset that I didn't get to fight James nor Gerald,
Yep.
you know, or any of the rest of them. So yeah, it ain't like I didn't challenge all of them.
And at the time when your career was kind of halted, though, you were right on the cusp of getting ready to fight Gerald, though, correct?
I was.
Yeah. And so what did you think of him as a fighter? Obviously, man, boxing fans know the unfortunate story of what happened with him, the Nigel Benn fight, the fallout of everything that's happened with his health after that, man. What did you think of him as a fighter, as someone that was about to fight him?
Well, that's two perspectives. What I thought of him as a fighter, I thought he was a good fighter, big puncher.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I felt like that was a cakewalk for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was stuff that you saw in him, as a lot of fighters do, that made you confident that you could win.
Well, I knocked out one of his gym mates, and his trainer tried to sign me.
Okay.
You know, and he told me then he had nobody in his gym that could deal with me.
Yeah.
So Gerald was in the gym at the time.
Right. So you kind of got to read between the lines a little bit there. Yeah.
I don't want to just call nobody out, but
right.
That's just what it was. You know, Gerald had that big long right hand. He couldn't hit me with that big long right hand.
Yeah.
You know.
And now for people that may have never seen you, in the prime of your career back in the day, and don't know, who might be watching this now, who don't know, much about KidFire, you were 27-1, 21 knockouts in your pro career. People would look at that on paper and say, okay, for lack of a better term, this guy was a knockout artist. But is that a fair assessment of what you do? Obviously, there's other layers to your game. What would you want people to know about your fighting style?
I needed to know that I was a hunter.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I hunt. I didn't box. You see. So
what's the difference? KidFire, I don't mean to cut you off, man, but for people that might not understand that phrase, man, what does that mean? You hunted and didn't box. Explain that. That's interesting.
Well, the reason I had fights taken from me, I learned one thing in the sport of boxing is if I lay that man, no matter how much money, no matter what the judges say, they can't raise his hands.
Right.
So that goes back to me saying, my job ain't to box you. It's not my job. My job is to get you out of there.
Right.
And I've heard people say, well, you can't knock everybody out. And my thing is, everybody's human.
Yeah.
So why you can't?
Right. That's true.
Yeah. And the people that went the distance with me, actually had 23 knockouts. The ones that went the distance, it was 5 of them. They went the distance running.
Yeah.
They spent more time on trying to survive than more time on trying to win.
Right. So that is pretty much you hunting them then. I get that then. Yeah, I get that. Now, you also spend a lot of time, boxing fans might know, you spend a lot of time sharing the ring with the legendary Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so obviously you have a pretty good bond with him. Obviously he's a guy that boxing fans will know was pretty dominant, in the 90s, was the face of boxing, man. How do you summarize Roy's talents?
Roy is my favorite fighter.
Great. I know.
Yeah, he's my favorite fighter. He became my favorite fighter the day we put the gloves on.
Yeah.
See, I understood he had something I didn't have. Not saying athletic wise, I couldn't keep up, but it was things that I learned, a lot of things that I learned that I was doing wrong when I was with him, and he would capitalize and make me pay for them.
What were some of them?
Learning balance for one.
Yep.
Which
is kind of funny that you say that, because oftentimes, boxing commentators would comment on how sometimes it looked like Roy wasn't always doing everything fundamentally right, but could still look great doing it. Oftentimes he would have his hands down. He would be leaning himself. He would be shucking and jiving and doing his thing.
Well, Roy's a hunter too.
Yeah.
And what he's doing is he's drawing in his prey.
Yeah.
See, so the things that we learn not to do that's wrong, we understand that we do it wrong and you go for it, then we can capitalize on top of it.
Right. Which ultimately makes it right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would lean sometime. I would throw a jab and lean. I would show a guy the right hand. I'd bring my hand back down to my chest, my lead hand, and he would try to counter. And by the time he countered, I didn't hit him with a hook.
Right.
So just little things like that.
Do you feel like despite the fact that you guys had a good relationship, we're learning from each other in the ring, that we possibly could have seen an actual real fight between you guys?
Actually, I turned down the fight with Roy. I could have fought. I could have turned down. I could have fought Roy instead of fighting Rexx. They started the bid out over $1 million, and I cut it right there. I ain't even see what it get up to.
And is that because of your respect for Roy?
Yeah, because they invited me to their house.
Right.
They trained me personally. So how could I fight a man that I feel is my brother?
Yeah.
And we done more than just training. We fished together. We hung out. He sat me down and showed me things. Hey, Lamar, you need to do this, this, and that, and the third. So my thing is, how can I fight a man that actually taught me? Could you give me 1 second?
Sure. Yeah, and that's the one thing that I do love about Roy, man. And that's hey, little man. That's the one thing that I do love about Roy. Roy is always one of those legends who I feel like is always. Roy's one of those guys that wants to help other fighters, though. I always love that about him.
Yeah,
he does. He's not one of those guys who's great but just wants to keep all the knowledge to himself.
Right. And a lot of people can't accept the knowledge. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Sometimes I think a man's ego will get involved. I train a lot of fighters that just don't accept the knowledge. They think whatever they're doing is better.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you think technology comes into play? A couple months ago, I had a current trainer now who said, and when I asked him about one of the biggest obstacles with young fighters, he feels like sometimes when the young fighters come to the gym, they can often be distracted by their electronic devices.
Yeah.
Phones and whatnot, social media.
Right. And that is a big distraction, especially when you're training and your phone on and you answering it, and
yeah,
that kind of shows where your commitment is.
Yeah. What would your are there a couple things that you really like to hone in on with boxers that you're training right now, man? I mean, like, what do you like to, if I were to ask your students who are coming to you, man, what would they say about you as a coach?
They would tell you I'm very strict.
Yeah. Thank God somebody is.
Yeah. Because when I first started with them, everybody wanted to spar.
Yeah.
First question they asked me, when we gonna spar, coach?
Yeah.
So I watched them hit the bag, and I was like, y'all can't even throw 2 punches on balance.
Yeah.
So why are y'all trying to spar? If y'all spar, y'all can create more bad habits for me, and more bad habits for me, and that I'm gonna have to fix.
Right.
So I made them all wait, probably about a month and a half. Oh, and but yeah, no, I got a whole team of fighters actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a whole team of fighters now. I do have it leveled out where I got the beginners levels,
right,
and the competition team. So you got to earn your way to that competition team.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So that includes the sparring and everything. See, back when I was coming up, I didn't really understand, things about the head damage and CTE and things of that nature.
Right.
But after looking back, I'm just blessed that, I bypassed it, which I didn't like getting hit no ways. So I'm very strict with my guys because I treat them like they're my kids. So I'm not just going to throw them in the ring to just spar, right at the gate until they actually learn something.
Right. And so back when you were in the midst of your career, did you think about how long you wanted to compete for? Obviously, your career was cut shorter than you would have liked it to have been. But when you started your pro career, did you have an idea in your mind, like, I'm not going to fight past a certain age. I'm not going to fight more than a certain amount of fights. And I know that can go out the window sometimes. I don't think Bernard Hopkins probably thought he was going to fight till he was 51. But I mean, I've had a lot of guys on here who will tell me, I don't want to still be getting punched at 35 or years old or 40 years old, or, had you thought about your career like that, or were you just kind of playing it by ear?
No, it never was a set limit on it. I fought for legacy.
Yeah.
You see. My thing was, I wanted, when people say Muhammad Ali, that Lamar Parks came out their name second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually I wanted to go up to heavyweight after I solidified the middleweight title.
Okay.
And actually challenged Tyson.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
so like when you say that, were you going to stop at all those weights in between, or were you just going to go from middleweight straight to heavyweight?
Straight to heavyweight.
Wow. So no fights in between. You were just going to kind of just skip all those other weight classes.
Yep.
That's pretty damn impressive. And so why was it specifically, out of all those great heavyweights in that era, why specifically Tyson? Just because of who he was at that time?
Because he was the greatest at that time.
Yeah.
He was the most feared man on the planet at that time.
Yeah.
I started fighting grown men when I was 16 years old, open competition. I was sparring grown men at 14 years old in the gym.
Yeah.
So like I tell people, all of them was Mike Tyson's to me.
Sure.
So for me to deal with Mike Tyson, I felt like I can handle that with my speed, my knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. And so obviously I've alluded to a couple of times, man, your career being cut short. Where are you right now in terms of your, are you somebody that still wants to fight? There's the $1 million question. There we go, man. The first time we've truly got KidFire to light up and smile so far, at least that big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you got a fighter of my caliber that's been through things that I have,
yeah,
usually the reason they quit because they were put in their place.
Yeah.
I've never been put in my place. Yeah, it's still in my heart to fight again.
And you also haven't suffered a lot of collateral damage, obviously, because you haven't been in a ton of wars. You haven't taken a lot of punishment.
No, I didn't even take damage as foreign.
Right.
So, no. Yeah, I have all my symptoms.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you currently?
55.
55. And so is this something that you feel like will actually come to fruition? Will we see LAMAR Parks in a boxing ring?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I guess the second part of that question would be, to what extent? Are we talking exhibitions? Are we talking about being a full-fledged competitor and actually seeking championship fights, title fights, whatever?
Listen, the only reason I want to put them gloves on so I can get my world title.
Okay.
See, that's the one thing I didn't get. That's the one thing I didn't accomplish in my career.
Okay.
My prayer to my God was I wanted to be the best fighter in the world. And I guess technically I got that because I was ranked number 1 WCWA and the IBL.
Right.
But that still separates me from being the world champion.
Correct. Yeah.
You see. So, yeah, I do want a title.
And where will you be competing now? Like, what weight would you be competing at now at 55?
Probably light heavy.
Light heavy. Okay. And I guess I should know this, being as I'm a boxing podcaster. I'm trying to run through my mind of who has belts or whatever. Is there anybody specifically at light heavyweight who you feel like is that guy right now?
Yeah.
Bivol?
He's been part of the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benavidez?
Benavidez, yeah. David Benavidez.
Yep.
I'll put him at 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you got Arthur.
Yeah.
I get their names wrong. Arthur, whatever his last name.
Beterbiev. Yep.
Beterbiev. Yeah.
Yeah, who has lost a little bit of stock because of the last fight with Bivol. So I think you do have him ranked right. I think David, and then probably Bivol, and then I think Beterbiev's stock has dropped a little bit. I'm not trying to knock the guy. Still one of the best light heavyweights out there, but he's still top 3, but he's the 3rd, I think, of the top 3 though.
Yeah,
currently. Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, and so if you come back and fight. What would be your main concerns at this point? Is ring rust even a viable concern anymore? I mean, obviously you look in great shape. Obviously you're in a gym every single day in some capacity, working out yourself or working out alongside your fighters. Is there anything you'd be concerned about coming back at 55?
None.
No.
Because like I used to tell people back then when I fought, if I have half of what I used to do,
Yeah.
I still won't have no problem.
Yeah. You're still probably better than a lot of pros.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I kind of have to agree with that too, or whatever. So, um, are you looking at coming back and trying to make an immediate impact because of your age, or are you interested in some tune-up fights before you get to that point?
Yeah, I would have to say, I mean, back when I was young, I would have told you, nah, I want to fight the best one today.
Get in there, yeah.
Right, but I understand it's a business at the end of the day.
Right.
So yeah, I would have a couple of tune-up fights first.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you at all obviously you've got family, you've got people around you. Is there anybody who's opposed to this in your life? Anybody who says, Lamar, don't do this? You know what I mean? I mean, not that you would listen, because obviously you're a very determined guy, and this is something that means a lot to you. But are there people in your life, who want you to pump the brakes and say, hey, Lamar, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you just keep on coaching, doing what you're doing?
Yeah, there is.
There's people okay.
Yeah. But
I mean, I know you ain't gonna listen, but
no. And use them people ones that can't fight.
Yeah.
You see, but I do have a support team to tell me anything I want to do, I should be able to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, especially given the fact that looking at your record, as I said earlier, I mean, like you're not somebody who's been through all these countless wars and who maybe it would be advisable to stay retired. You know what I mean? I don't think you're in that position, obviously. You know what I mean? Like you're in a position, where you haven't gone through a lot in your career.
Right. My hand speed's still good. My power's still good.
Yeah.
My mental's still good. So I think them fellas will have a whole lot of trouble on their hands.
Do you ever anticipate, or let me word that a different way, where do you stand on Jake Paul's role in boxing? How about a KidFire Jake Paul fight?
Oh man, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
That way we can put him in his place.
Obviously, right.
But I do respect what he's doing though.
Okay,
I do respect what he's doing. He's made an impact on boxing for whatever reason. Like I tell people, Ali used to do exhibitions.
Sure.
TV is entertainment.
It is.
It is. And he's making money doing it. Boxing
is a sport too boxing is a sport that has struggled over the years too. So I mean, if you've got somebody like him who's bringing eyes to the sport and bringing publicity to the sport, ultimately, I guess if you're a boxing fan, that's a good thing.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about Jake Paul, man. Obviously he's a polarizing character, man. But I mean, he is bringing eyes to the sport, though.
He is. So actually, I think he's doing a great thing.
Yeah.
Because he put more eyes on boxing. He's a very focused guy. He's actually learned and got better since he's been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he might need to get me to help him on coaching now when he really go fight one of them top level guys.
Right.
But see, he's not ready for that yet.
Where did you stand on because boxing doesn't really get a lot of fights that you can really call a super fight. Obviously we saw Floyd and Manny Pacquiao a bunch of years back. We just had one of those fights a couple weeks ago with Bud and Canelo. What did you think of that fight?
It kind of went exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
I guess I'll be truthful. I figured Crawford to stop Canelo. When he lit up on Canelo, it kind of hurt me a little bit.
Okay.
I knew he would win. That wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
But Canelo's never been stopped. And he was the man to stop him, and he did.
Yeah.
I couldn't see me letting Canelo live in my day.
Where do you see either one of those guys' career now, man? What's the next logical move? Obviously, Canelo has said he's going to continue to fight. If you were advising Bud Crawford or could give him advice, should he stick around? There's people that are saying he could go down to 160. He might even be able to unify or become undisputed down there. Or should he just ride off into the sunset? Your opinion?
My opinion is what's in his heart.
Yeah.
Is what's in his heart. He could drop weight. He could even go up in weight.
Yeah.
He's done everything in boxing. He's accomplished everything. He has enough money to retire. Usually most people would retire, but Bud has never been put in his place, so he's still got that fire inside of him. And I see Bud continuing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like he's got more. He's got more in the tank, and he's not somebody to bet against. Obviously, everyone was saying he's the smaller guy coming in against Canelo. He can't do this. He can't do that. How's he going to win? And it seems like every time people stack the deck against him, he rises to the occasion.
Right.
I'll never bet against him ever. I mean, he just always shows up and shows out all the time. And so he's now become undisputed in 3 different weight classes. Where does he rank now in terms of the GOAT conversation? Is he on the Mount Rushmore because of what he's accomplished?
Yeah. You would have to put him there. His skill says it. And the opponents he's beat, you have to put Bud in there with some of the greats.
Who's on the Mount Rushmore? Who are the biggest 4 faces, man? Who are the greats of all time, in your opinion?
In my opinion, Ali, of course.
Sure, definitely.
And nobody could never take that spot.
Never.
Ali fought guys that was just, he didn't pick and choose. He fought the best at the time he was supposed to fight.
And he also did so much outside of the ring. That's what really makes him the greatest, too. I mean,
I put Roy there.
Definitely.
Yeah. I put Sugar Ray there. And I also put Mayweather there.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of have to. He's a polarizing guy. He's got his fans, he's got his haters, but what he accomplished, you can't take anything away from him.
No, you can't.
So now it seems like it's funny that you brought his name up, because now it seems like there might be these two might be headed for a collision course, Floyd and Roy.
Who?
Floyd and Roy.
Floyd and Roy.
Obviously, they've been bickering. They've been feuding. There's been talk about possibly them two fighting. I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition or whatever, man. But they've obviously gotten in the last couple of weeks, gotten underneath each other's skin a little bit with some comments.
Yeah. Mayweather too little.
Too little. Yeah.
Too little.
So with that being said, does that mean that Mayweather has no chance in this upcoming fight? Now he's chosen to fight Mike Tyson.
It all depends on what you call a fight.
Right.
Exhibition and a fight is 2 different things.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's entertainment. It's for the TV.
Yeah.
So
if we're getting an exhibition fight, anything could happen. But if this was a real boxing match, size does matter.
To a degree.
Okay.
Like I say, no. If you got a lightweight and a heavyweight, size matters.
Yeah.
But if you got a guy 10, 15 pounds bigger, no. I fought guys like that since I, like I said, was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
What counts then was who shoot.
Right.
And I call these my guns.
Right.
Shoot.
Right. And so obviously another guy that just came back and actually looked pretty successful, 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao. What did you think of him when he came back against Mario Barrios? Do you think he still looks like vintage Manny? And should he continue?
I would. He'll get sharper. He will get sharper.
Yeah. It looks like the fight that he's angling for, or his team is angling for now, because he also wants to come back very much like you. He has the goal of getting a world title at his advanced age. So it looks like now he's targeting Rolly Romero. Does that seem like the right person to target to get a welterweight belt?
Yeah.
It is, right? That's the, we sit here, Rolly's name comes up and we just chuckle. I know. That seems like the right guy to go for, though.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, just not the most fundamentally sound guy out of all the welterweights. Probably the most beatable.
Right.
Yeah.
Might hit the hardest.
Might
but
hit the hardest. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Might hit
but
the hardest.
definitely not the most fundamental.
Yeah. So, uh, so, uh, you've also got a book in the works, correct?
I do, but it'll probably be after my documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be after my documentary or simultaneously.
Okay, so when does all right, so catch people up on what's going on with the documentary. How do you come up, who approaches you with the idea? How does the documentary get made? And were you for it, against it? Was it your idea? Did someone have to persuade you to make a documentary?
No, it's my idea. People need to
Okay.
hear the story from my side,
I agree.
because I feel like boxing shut me out,
Mm-hmm.
Like made me like this terrible person, and I'm not. You see,
Yeah.
it's that when I was young, I went in the shell. I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm ready to tell my story so the world know exactly what happened.
Okay. And so first of all, when will this documentary be available to watch? When can fans expect it?
Timeline, I guess I put it.
We're in pre-production.
We're in pre-production now.
Okay. So sometime in 2026?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And for people that don't know your backstory and about your career, what will people learn from this documentary?
The biggest thing is how to stay strong through any diversity.
Okay. And do you also feel like that the timeline on the book is somewhere in the same ballpark? Do we feel like we'll see the book in 2026, maybe more likely 2027?
2026.
Okay. And do we have titles for either one of these projects?
Titles? No, not yet.
Not yet.
That's
Okay. Still in the works.
Yeah, that's still in the works.
Okay, still in the works. And and you also last year got inducted into the Carolinas Boxing Hall of Fame, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Big honor.
Yeah, it was. Could you give me 1 second?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
And a much deserved honor too, I'd have to say too, man, because it's like those accolades, man. I think they mean something, right?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Like, do those accolades mean a lot to you? Like when you get them, obviously, like you didn't achieve everything you wanted in boxing. So, like when you get those accolades, are they more meaningful? That you're being recognized, given the fact that you didn't get to do everything you wanted in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because the people that really knew me, people that was beside me, they knew I was going to be world champion. Beyond a shadow of that.
Yeah.
And I only I would be the most feared at that time. I was the guy. I guess what you would call the boogeyman. Nobody wanted to fight me.
Right.
I was the first person they chose to fight.
So back then, man, like you're talking about being the boogeyman. Are there definite fights that you know of, that didn't happen just because of that reputation?
Is there definite what now?
Is there definite fights that you know that fell through just because of that boogeyman type of reputation?
Oh yeah. Because my promoter had trouble getting me fights.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, like it was hard getting you fights.
Man, it was really hard getting fights. Noah Hopkins was my mandatory.
Right.
For my NABF title, my NABF title. But they chose not to fight me at that time. Which, I do get it. It's business. Not that he was scared of me as a man, but is it worth fighting me for 50, 100,000 on USA? And he fought Roy Jones later for almost $1 million.
Right.
You see, was it worth the risk? See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So at the time, either I had to get my title up or he had to waive his rights and just, because we were, like I say, locked in to fight each other.
Right. When you look back at your career, what would you say is your biggest regret? Do you have any regrets?
My biggest regret, letting Reggie live.
And now, do you have a relationship with Reggie? Is there animosity towards Reggie or just a decision?
No, actually, I respect Reggie more today than when I fought him.
Okay.
I had called Reggie about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I told Reggie, I said, Reggie, I need a rematch. You didn't win that fight. This is what Reggie said to me. He said, Lamar, I didn't want to fight you in the first place.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably even more high praise.
He said, my trainers, my promoter, and my family told me not to fight you. Just give you my belt. So he went against all adversities.
Yeah.
You know, and granted, I felt like it could have been any day, but that day, if it had been the next day I fought Reggie, fight would have went different. You know, not that I felt like I didn't. Of course, I felt like I won, but my job wasn't to go to distance. My job was to get Reggie out of there.
Boy, and I've been angling for this episode, and I'm going to do it here probably in the next couple of months of getting James and Reggie on here and just watch them like two uncles at the barbecue argue about their fight. And meanwhile, I probably should have had you and Reggie on here arguing about your fight. That would have been probably more entertaining, man. But from what I understand, James and Reggie have met up in person a bunch of times, and they kind of playfully go back and forth about that fight. So that's kind of what I'm angling for, having them both on an episode and just kind of let them kind of hash it out and talk about why each one of them think they won the fight, which was a razor-thin fight. I watched it. I love both of those guys. They've been really great to my podcast. I've had them both on multiple times. Listen, again, I love them both, man. I had James winning at 114 to 113, even though I will give Reggie credit. Yes, you mentioned it earlier. He did drop James in the second round, man, which is not an easy thing to do, man, but it's extremely close fight though, man. I mean, so competitive.
Yeah. James is a good fighter. He's very sneaky, very tactical.
Yeah, he is.
But I'd already expected to fight him and what I would do standing in front of him.
Yeah.
Which that's one thing you don't want to do is stand in front of him too long.
Right.
But and he was a very dangerous fighter also.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't think his punch output, I don't think he threw enough punches.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what the difference is going to be when I fought him.
And so what did you think of, like when your buddy Roy started moving up in weight? Because obviously, man, like Roy is another one of those guys, a lot like James. Started at middleweight, went all the way up to heavyweight, did some incredible things at all those stops, in between. Where do you think Roy was at his best?
Anywhere.
He was great everywhere, right? He
really was. I mean, you can't take away his knowledge. That's the thing. See, people think boxing is about fighting. It's not. I learned so much when I was with Roy.
Yeah.
And you can take that knowledge to any weight class. Like I say, it don't matter. It don't matter if you got a 40 caliber and I got a 22 if I'm doing all the hitting.
Right. You're doing, you're right. Like you're pulling the trigger more. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very happy a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw the story, man. But Roy got his Olympic medal. The guy brought it to him and gave it to him because deep down he knew that Roy got, we talked about bad scoring earlier, man. Roy got cheated back then, though, man. And what a big move for that guy to acknowledge that,
Yeah, actually, I was down there the week before the guy brought it. Me and Roy was sitting down, and he had told me, and he actually said he cried when it happened.
Sure.
I was training with Roy for the Olympics, so I know what Roy went through. We were actually sparring, and when I watched the Olympics, I cried.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the bigger. We've certainly seen a lot of robberies over the course of the years in boxing, man, on the professional level, man. But as far as the amateur level and or the Olympics, that's one of the biggest right there. It was.
Yeah. I don't think you can get one even bigger. I don't think it'll ever be one bigger than that.
No. So for another man to acknowledge that, years later, that's a pretty big, that's a pretty big deal. You don't see a lot of guys that are going to come in there with their Olympic medal and cough it up like that,
Hey, you're right. But I mean, with how bad it was, I wouldn't want the medal.
Right. It's kind of tainted because in the court of public opinion, people don't think you won it,
Right. I was heard he said he wished he had never won it.
I know. Yeah. I mean, and so, so when you do get back into the ring, and it sounds like you're determined to do this, who will be the team around you?
It's a special select. I'm still working in the process of. It's whoever God put in my life.
Okay.
Right people God put in my life.
Okay. Do you feel like you will? Do you feel like you will glean more wisdom and possibly have do more work with Roy? Will Roy enter the equation in this comeback?
Yeah, he will. At some point in time. I didn't want to say that on him because I hadn't disclosed that with him yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a possibility that he
Guess
will.
what, Roy?
Because if you look at my style, you look at Roy's style, our styles are similar. I'm just a shorter version of Roy.
Yeah.
So I would have to keep my guards up more. My fundamentals had to be a little bit better because I couldn't do what Roy do. And that's what a lot of people make mistakes at. They try to fight like Roy.
Right.
You know, but our styles are similar because our training is from the same background.
Yeah. Just the fact that somebody could think that they could fight like Roy, though, man. There's not a lot of guys out there that can pull off what Roy does, though. You know, you know, there's not. We talked about it. We talked about it earlier, man. Like there's stuff that Roy can do wrong and still make it look brilliant.
Right.
You know, there's not a lot of guys that can do stuff that unorthodox and still look absolutely amazing.
Right. There's nobody.
You know? It's hard to do. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, sometimes Roy is doing stuff off balance, off the wrong foot. You know what I mean? Like, and he still looks like a master out there.
Right, because I'm gonna tell you something about Roy. Roy don't do anything if he ain't already 3-4 steps ahead of you.
Right. He's playing chess. A lot of people are playing checkers. He's out there playing chess.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And that's pretty much what carried him through his whole career. I think you hit on it earlier, man. It's this up here, you know?
Right. I remember one time I was at the gym sparring with Roy, and I had a good day with him. And his uncle, Liam, said, yeah, Mark got out of all them traps. I was like, a trap? I mean, like, what is a trap? Like, I better figure that out before tomorrow, before I get caught up in that trap.
Yeah, before he catches you in one of them.
Right.
Yeah. And so, so obviously, for people that don't know your backstory, man, you did kind of pull the plug in the boxing career because of health issues, man. How is your health right now?
My health is great.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you do look good.
Yeah,
and so, go ahead.
I would say my health is great, and I just had he's about to be 2 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no issues with health.
Yeah. You better keep that. You better keep that energy up with little ones running around.
You got that right.
Yeah, you got to keep that energy up, man. Go ahead.
That was one of the things that started me back working out with the little ones.
Yeah. But it does but it does make you have to, it does make you have to keep the energy up, man, because the little ones aren't going to just accept the fact that, like, like you're tired and you need to take a break, man. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand that, you know?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to be on your toes all the time, man. Do you think that has helped you, feel rejuvenated physically?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah. Keeps you sharp.
Right.
And so for people that want to tap in, follow you on this journey, man. I know everyone's out there in social media somewhere, man. Where's the best place to tap in with KidFire if they want to fucking get updates on, like, how this comeback is coming along, maybe updates on the documentary, the book, et cetera, et cetera?
Instagram's
the best place. Yeah. I said before you came on here, man, that I've had you on the podcast before, that I considered you a friend of the podcast, man. So I always enjoy these conversations with you, man. And so before I let you out of here, do you have any definitive news on when you might fight, or is this still kind of all in the making? How much are you able to divulge to us?
It's still in the making.
Okay.
I could have fought as early as December.
Okay.
But I would like a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So I see it happening within the next 6 months. In
the next 6 months, we will see KidFire. Well, that's exciting right there, man. Boxing fans are going to be happy about that, man. And do you have any idea how long you want to come back for? Are you looking at a few fights? Are you looking at, you're not really sure at this point?
When I win my title, I'll make that decision then.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
it take me 3 fights to 40 fights to win that title,
You're in it though. Yeah, you're in it for the long haul.
right, I'm in it to get that title.
Come hell or high water, we're not leaving until we get that title.
We get the title.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so that's the main goal right there, man. Just to get that world title, though.
Yeah. Because I am a world champion.
Yeah.
You know, they got a list with Ringside's top greatest fighters in the 90s.
Yeah.
Everybody on that list is world champion except for me. They got me ranked at number 7. I don't know if you've seen that list or not.
Yes, I have. Yep. Yeah.
You know, everybody on there world champion.
Yep.
You know, so and don't get me wrong, even it being number 7, it still made me feel, a little happy. But at the same time, that number 7 wasn't even my spot.
Right.
You know,
right.
I felt like I should have been number 1 in that spot.
And so if you were to come back and let's say everything went best possible case scenario, and you come back in 1 or 2 fights, you get that world title, then you would step away. It's not about coming back for the long haul. It's just about coming back. I want to make that clear. It's just about coming back for that one goal.
For that one goal, yeah. But if it ain't against the right fighter, then I guess I'd be willing to unify some titles.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to fight the weakest world champion.
Okay, so you're out there to want to test yourself, man. Like, you don't want this to be like, okay, KidFire came back and he kind of cherry picked the easiest guy. You want to come back and fight the best guy.
There you go.
Okay. And so regardless of who that is, you're not picky.
No.
Okay.
I want to go down in history.
Right. And listen, I don't know if anybody has come back at the age of 55 or older, right? Like Manny wants to come back, I think, at 46 because it's 1 year older than George Foreman was when he came back.
Right.
So 55 and winning a title would be unprecedented.
Right.
I don't know that anybody would do that. I mean, I'm not so sure that there's a lot of guys who could do that.
Right.
Who could do it.
Right.
And I know there's lots of old time fighters who want to try to come back. You know what I mean? Like we've seen guys kind of stay on the fringes, like Floyd every couple of years. He'll fight these exhibition fights, seeing Manny come back at 46, but we don't know how active he's going to be. I don't know how serious some of the guys who are older and have been retired and they come back, how serious they are. You know what I mean? You seem very serious about this though.
Right. I am.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously very determined, man. Almost hell bent.
Right.
You're getting that title belt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the light heavyweight division is on notice now, officially. Yeah. And now, do you foresee it a problem? Obviously, you've done some amazing things in your career. You talk about the accolades, the reputation that you had back in the 90s. Have you talked to your team? Do you foresee it being an issue having to wait a long time for a title fight? Or do you feel like, because, obviously the ranking system can certainly be, manipulate. Like, for God's sakes, the WBA already ranked fucking Jake Paul, for God's sakes. So, I mean, it shouldn't be hard for you to get in there, given your reputation as a pugilist, and be able to work yourself into a title fight. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, come on. If they're going to rank Jake Paul based on what he's done, I mean, come on, man. I mean, if you want to come back and get a title fight, even at your age, I can't believe it would be an issue.
No, it shouldn't be no issue.
It shouldn't be, right?
No. Because Jake Paul had he fought a ranked fighter?
I don't think he's fought a ranked fighter, and even the one real boxer that people give him credit for, and that was Tommy Fury, and even Tommy Fury is kind of like a fringe boxer at best. He's not somebody that's fighting 3 or 4 times a year religiously,
Right.
And he lost that fight too.
Jake
Paul lost to Tommy Fury, so I mean, so the one time he tried to step up and fight an actual legit boxer. He didn't fare so well, but he hasn't really fought any of these guys at cruiserweight, though. I mean, now he's going to come down in weight and he's going to fight Tank Davis. Makes you scratch your head, you know what I mean? Like it's like just when the guy gets ranked at cruiserweight and you think maybe he's going to be starting to fight these guys, Zerto and Jai Opatai and Badu Jack and some of these guys, man, then suddenly he makes a move like that and you're kind of scratching your head,
Yeah, that's when you go back and say it's entertainment.
It's entertainment, right? It's more WWE than it is boxing in his world, anyway.
Right.
Well, I'm happy for you, man. I'm super excited to see how this is going to go, man. Having you on the podcast the first time, man. You have such an incredible story and an incredible journey, man. I really, really hope this goes well for you, man. I'm really rooting for you, man. Especially as a guy that's over 50 years old myself, man. You know what I mean? You're doing it for us, man.
Yeah, I'm doing it for us.
Yeah. And I'm excited, man. And as soon as you have some news, man, reach out to me, man, and we will definitely do this again, man. I'm invested in this journey with you, man. I hope it goes well for you, man, and everything comes full circle for you, man.
Hey, I definitely appreciate it, man. I enjoy being on your podcast.
I appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to this, man, and urging people to tap in with you on social media and keep tabs on this whole journey, man, that you're going through, man. And I wish you well, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And we'll definitely do this again. Stay in touch, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Lamar. Good talking to you, my friend.
All right. Good talking to you, too.
Yep. Later, my man. And there he goes, folks. And boy, am I happy. And boy, did we receive, as boxing fans, a ton of good news there. And I know there will be people in the comment section who will say exactly what we talked about in there. Why is KidFire doing this at 55 years old? But obviously, he gave valid reasons in there for being 55. When his career ended, he was 27-1, 21 knockouts between his pro and amateur career, 188 fights. He won 175 of them. So for you people out there that aren't mathematicians, that's 13 fights that maybe he's been beaten in his lifetime. He even disputes that number. So obviously he looks great. He sounds great. Nobody has beaten him up. Nobody has given him a tough fight. He hasn't been in any wars. And most importantly, a world title has eluded him up to this point in his life and or career. And he wants to change that. So people will be naysayers. They will say, stay retired. You're 55. You haven't fought in a minute. But listen, since when have we not applauded, especially in the business of pugilism, a man's will and determination, regardless of chronological age, a man can still have that intestinal fortitude, that fire inside, and coupled with the fact that he also has a lot of knowledge, a lot more wisdom than the younger KidFire had, which, putting that together, makes him a very dangerous man, considering he's really at a point in time in his life where it seems like physically, mentally, emotionally, he's got everything tied together and has it in the complete package. Regardless of maybe didn't figure this out at 25 or 35, he's 55. It is what it is, but this is where he's at in life. This is where his journey has led him to. And I applaud it. I salute it. And obviously, he is very determined. And for people that might not know his backstory, all that stuff that he said was true. He was extremely feared. He was extremely avoided. He was highly touted back in the prime of his career. He was poised at the time of his career ending. He was on the precipice of huge, amazing fights with all the top guys that were in his era. Those fights didn't come to fruition. So a lot was left on the table. And now LAMAR KidFire Parks is back to try to claim some of that and get some peace of mind and some clarity and really find out, if he still has the goods. And I believe he certainly could, to be a world champion. It has eluded him up to this point in his career, and I salute him for taking a stab at it. Listen, Manny Pacquiao is now back at 46 years old, trying to be the oldest world champion of all time. Before that, we saw George Foreman come back and do it. And so far, nobody has really done it with, and I know people will probably find those isolated incidents where it has been disastrous, but Manny came back and fought Mario Barrios to a draw. George Foreman came back and knocked Michael Moore out. We just saw former heavyweight Ike Ibeabuchi come back and win over the age of 50 after several years of being incarcerated and or inactive. So again, people will shit on this. People will say this is a bad idea. But people also aren't inside the mind, the heart, and the spirit of LAMAR KidFire Parks. So lest we not cast judgment and throw stones, we shouldn't. We can only judge based on what we see when KidFire steps through those ropes after putting in the work. You know, he knows what he's up against. He knows that he's giving up age. He knows, it sounds like he's acutely aware of what he's up against, who he's up against, the big fish that he'd be have in his crosshairs at light heavyweight. He called them out by name. He knows that it might involve fights with Benavidez, Bivol, Beterbiev, whoever. So remains to be seen, but I am wholeheartedly rooting for him. I love KidFire. I am proud to call him a friend of the show. It was an honor having him on the first time, and I'm super glad we got a chance to catch up with him, chop it up with him. Be on the lookout next year for a documentary about his journey. Also, a book coming our way. So there's a lot of excitement happening in the LAMAR KidFire Parks world, and I'm happy for him, man. In his career, 27-1, his pro career, 21 knockouts. He really was that dude. Go back, do your homework, do your fact checking, and you will find out. So again, thank you. Big ups to LAMAR KidFire Parks for coming back on the show. Always enjoy catching up with him. Now I'll go into my shameless promotional mode. I got to do it, folks. You got a podcast. You got to pimp it. The pimp hand is feeling strong. Here we go. Tap in with Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. The handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. You'll get updates again on new episodes, when those episodes are going to drop, who will be on those episodes, and any other big pertinent boxing news. If it's popping off in the fight game, your boy Reckless Rexx will try to keep you guys, my boxing brethren, in the loop. Whether it's big fight announcements, results, breakdowns, analysis, predictions, viral videos, anything that's newsworthy and noteworthy, your boy is going to stick it up there and keep y'all informed. And you can also tap in with us on Instagram, same handle, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Trying to be more active. Someone chirped my ear and said, Rexx, you got to get busy on Instagram. Do your thing over there. That's where the kids are going nowadays. So we're on there, trying to put up little videos, teasers, snippets of interviews. So you can check us out there. And of course, right here on YouTube, this is where you're going to get your meat and potatoes, these amazing conversations that we have. This is where they go down. So if you're here, like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. It's up there somewhere. Look for it. We've got 290 some odd episodes. We're knocking at the door of 300 episodes of Off the Couch Boxing. So go back, peruse those past episodes. I always say it. There's something there for everybody. Dive on in. If you like conversations with the OGs, the legends of the sport, we got them. If you like conversations with the future world champions of tomorrow, we got them. So dive on in, check them out. You will realize why we are the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. The proof is in the pudding, folks. It's amazing content. They're amazing conversations, and we've done damn near 300 of them. So jump on in, check them out, and you will definitely see why I'm claiming we're the champs. And the good news is you too at home can be a champion. That's right. You can. The formula is very simple. All you got to do is continue to stay tapped in with Off the Couch Boxing and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.